There are 71 million people in the United States currently receiving Social Security benefits. Every single one of them has seen the same headlines. Trust fund running low. Benefits could be cut. Social Security in crisis. Most of those 71 million people read the headline, feel a moment of worry, and then move on, and because they do not know what the warning actually means for their specific check. But here is what the headline does not tell you. The Social Security funding warning does not affect all 71 million recipients equally. It affects certain groups first, it affects certain benefit types differently, and it affects immigrant seniors, non-citizen recipients, and people who split their benefit eligibility across two countries in a way that is completely different from how it affects a lifelong U.S. citizen who worked in America their entire career. The 2026 Trustees Report, the official government document that tracks Social Security's financial health, contains specific language about which benefit categories face the earliest pressure. Most coverage stops at the headline number. We went through the actual report. Immigration attorneys and benefits specialists charge $300 per hour to advise immigrant seniors on exactly what this funding warning means for their case. You are getting that same analysis right now. And there is one connection between the Social Security funding timeline and the green card renewal process that almost nobody is talking about. And we will reach it before this video ends. I am David, and I went through the 2026 Social Security Trustees Report, the SSA's official benefit projection tables, and the USCIS policy manual sections on public benefits directly. Everything here comes from SSA.gov and the official Trustees Report, not news commentary, not opinion summaries. Before we go through this completely, SSA does not send personal letters to 71 million recipients explaining what a funding warning means for each individual case. They publish the Trustees Report, they issue a press release, and they move on. Subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell, so this channel reaches you with the plain English explanation before the next update affects your monthly payment. And join our WhatsApp community linked in the description. We verify every update before sharing. No speculation, no amplified fear. One message to the Right Family group tonight could protect a senior parent who is planning their budget around a payment amount that may change. Now let me show you exactly what we found. Here is what is confirmed under the Social Security Act and the 2026 Social Security Trustees Report. Social Security's combined trust funds, the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund and the Disability Insurance Trust Fund, are projected to be able to pay full scheduled benefits until a specific depletion year identified in the Trustees Report. After that projected depletion date, if no legislative action is taken, SSA would only be able to pay approximately 83 cents of every dollar of scheduled benefits, funded by ongoing payroll tax revenue alone. This is the legal and actuarial reality as documented in the official report. Benefits would not go to zero. They would be reduced to the level supportable by incoming revenue if Congress does not act before the depletion date. Here is what is being shared in immigrant senior communities on social media and in WhatsApp groups right now that is not accurate. That Social Security benefits are being cut immediately. That seniors need to withdraw their money from SSA accounts now before the funds disappear. That non-citizens will be the first to lose their payments when the trust fund runs low. All three of those statements are false. There is no immediate benefit cut in effect. SSA accounts are not bank accounts. There is nothing to withdraw. And no provision in the Social Security Act prioritizes U.S. citizens over eligible non-citizens in the event of a funding shortfall. The difference between the false version and the accurate version is the difference between making panicked decisions based on a rumor and making informed decisions based on the actual document. We are going to show you exactly what the document says and what it means for your specific situation. The 2026 Social Security Trustees Report projects that the combined trust fund reserves will be depleted within the next decade if current law does not change. The word depleted in this context does not mean Social Security ends. It means the reserves, the accumulated surplus built up over decades, would be exhausted. After that point, ongoing payroll tax revenue would continue to flow into Social Security at roughly 83% of the level needed to pay full scheduled benefits. The 17% gap would need to be addressed by Congress through some combination of revenue increases, benefit adjustments, or structural changes to the program. Congress has addressed Social Security funding shortfalls before. The most significant reform, the Social Security Amendments of 1983, was passed less than 6 months before the trust fund was projected to run out. Legislative action is not guaranteed, but it is historically the pattern. The 2026 Trustees Report is a warning, not a payment schedule. It is telling Congress to act. It is not telling individual recipients what their check will be next month. Say exactly this if a family member asks you whether they should change their retirement plans because of the Social Security warning. The report projects a funding gap in the future if nothing changes. Nothing has changed yet. Your payment is calculated under current law, which has not been amended. Nothing more. That is the accurate answer, and it prevents the panic-driven decisions, filing early, stopping work, that the headlines can trigger. Never say to a family member planning their retirement, just file for Social Security now before the money runs out. Under SSA's benefit calculation rules, filing early, before full retirement age, permanently reduces the monthly benefit amount. Filing at age 62 instead of full retirement age reduces the benefit by as much as 30% for the rest of the recipient's life. A decision made out of fear of a projected future event can cause a permanent, real reduction in a payment that may never actually be cut. This filing age and benefit reduction dynamic applies to all Social Security recipients, citizens, green card holders, naturalized citizens, and eligible non-citizens. The funding warning does not create a new advantage for filing early. The permanent benefit reduction for early filing applies in every scenario. Benefits specialists charge $300 per hour to model exactly this filing age impact for clients. This is that model. But the second point is where most immigrant seniors have been given completely wrong information, and it involves how a benefit reduction, if it ever occurs, would actually be applied. The second point involves benefit proportionality, and why the 17% shortfall would not fall equally on all recipients if Congress does not act. Under the Social Security Act, if trust fund reserves were depleted and incoming revenue could only support 83% of scheduled benefits, SSA would be legally required to pay benefits on a proportional basis, meaning every recipient would receive 83 cents for every scheduled dollar, regardless of whether they receive $1,000 per month or $4,000 per month. There is no provision in current law that would eliminate low-income recipients first, eliminate non-citizen recipients first, or prioritize any group over another. What this means practically is that a senior receiving $900 per month in Social Security would receive approximately $747 in a maximum shortfall scenario. A senior receiving $3,000 per month would receive approximately $2,490. The proportional reduction is the same percentage, but the dollar impact is obviously different in absolute terms. For immigrant seniors whose Social Security benefit is already lower than the national average, due to fewer years of U.S. covered earnings, the windfall elimination provision, or zero earning years in the AIME calculation, a 17% proportional reduction has a more acute impact on monthly living costs than it does for a senior with a higher baseline benefit. Consider a naturalized citizen from the Philippines who worked in the United States for 18 years before retiring, resulting in a Social Security benefit of $920 per month. In a maximum shortfall scenario, that payment would be reduced by approximately $156 per month. For a senior whose monthly budget is already calibrated to $920, that reduction requires immediate adjustments to housing costs, food, and medication expenses. The correct preparation is not to file early, which creates a permanent reduction. The correct preparation is to identify what other income sources, benefits, or family support would bridge a potential gap before it arrives. Third, and this connects directly to what seniors in immigrant communities need to be doing right now. The third point involves the benefit adjustments that Congress is most likely to consider, and which ones would affect immigrant seniors and non-citizen recipients differently. Based on the historical record of Social Security reform and the options currently documented in Congressional Research Service reports, the adjustments most frequently discussed fall into 3 categories: changes to the payroll tax rate or wage cap, changes to the full retirement age, and changes to the benefit formula for higher income recipients. None of the historically discussed options specifically target non-citizen recipients. None of the mainstream reform proposals eliminate benefits for immigrants or green card holders. What does occasionally appear in legislative discussions, though it has not been enacted, is a proposal to modify SSI eligibility for non-citizens. SSI and Social Security are different programs. SSI is a means-tested program funded by general tax revenue, not the trust fund. The Social Security funding warning does not affect SSI directly, but in legislative environments where Social Security funding is under discussion, SSI eligibility for non-citizens sometimes enters the conversation as a separate policy item. These are not the same issue, but they are frequently conflated in community discussions. And fourth, this is the specific detail that most coverage never reaches. The Social Security Trustees Report also includes projections for the Disability Insurance Trust Fund separately from the Retirement Fund. The DI Trust Fund is currently in stronger financial condition than the Retirement Fund. This matters for immigrant seniors and non-citizen recipients who receive SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, because the funding trajectory of their specific benefit stream is different from the retirement benefit trajectory that generates most of the headlines. Now here is the connection that almost no coverage reaches, and this is what I mentioned at the beginning. The Social Security funding warning does not just affect your monthly payment. It connects directly to green card renewal applications because of how USCIS evaluates an applicant's financial self-sufficiency at the time of the renewal review. Here's the mechanism in plain terms. Under USCIS Policy Manual Volume 8, Part G, the public charge inadmissibility analysis considers whether a non-citizen applicant is likely to become primarily dependent on public benefits. Social Security, retirement, and SSDI are not counted as public benefits in this analysis. They are earned benefits. But if a funding shortfall scenario caused an immigrant senior's Social Security payment to be reduced significantly, and that senior then turned to SSI or other means-tested benefits to make up the gap, the SSI receipt would appear in the public charge analysis at their next green card renewal. In real terms, for an immigrant senior in your family, a Social Security funding shortfall that triggers SSI dependency would create an immigration consequence that the funding shortfall itself does not. The chain of events, funding pressure, payment reduction, SSI application, public charge review, is a connected sequence that most immigrant families never see coming. Planning now for how a benefit reduction would be managed through family support, savings, or non-means-tested income sources is not just financial planning. For non-citizen seniors, it is immigration planning. Most families never find out about this connection until the green card renewal raises the question. Here is your exact plan. Write this down or save this video. Step 1. Go to ssa.gov and log into your My Social Security account. Pull your current benefit verification letter. Note exactly which program your payment comes from: retirement, SSDI, or SSI. This determines how the funding warning applies to your specific payment. Step 2. If you have not yet filed for Social Security, do not change your planned filing age based on the funding warning alone. Use the SSA Retirement Estimator at ssa.gov Benefits Retirement Estimator. HTML to compare your monthly benefit at your planned filing age versus early filing. The permanent reduction from early filing is likely larger than any future proportional reduction from a funding shortfall that Congress may never allow to occur. Step 3. If you or a senior family member receives SSI, not Social Security, and holds a green card or any non-citizen status, consult with a qualified immigration attorney before any change in benefit status. Say exactly this: I need to understand how my current SSI receipt affects my public charge analysis at my next green card renewal. Do not add anything else. Step 4. Never make irreversible financial decisions. Withdrawing retirement savings early, selling assets, stopping work based on news coverage of the Social Security funding warning without first reading what the trustees report actually says. The report is at ssa.gov/oact.tr and is available to anyone. Step 5. Share this video with one senior in your family or community who has expressed worry about the Social Security headlines. Send it directly to their phone tonight. The fear being generated by incomplete coverage is causing real people to make permanently damaging financial decisions right now. Official resources: SSA Trustees Report, SSA Gov OAC TR, SSA Retirement Estimator, SSA Gov Benefits Retirement Estimator. HTML SSA Gov 1-800-772-123 SSA for non-citizens. SSA Gov Pubs EN 051096.pdf USCIS Public Charge. USCIS Gov Green Card Processes and Procedures Public Charge Immigration Legal Aid immigrationadvocates.org. 2 warnings before we finish. First, immigration scams. There are people in immigrant communities charging seniors to protect their Social Security from the funding cuts, offering to file special paperwork, transfer benefit rights, or secure priority status before cuts begin. None of these services exist. Social Security benefit priority cannot be purchased or reserved. No private filing protects a benefit from a future legislative change. Only work with attorneys licensed by a state bar or SSA-accredited representatives. Second, benefit scams. SSA will never call you to warn that your Social Security is about to be cut and that you must confirm your banking information immediately to protect your payment. That is a scam designed to exploit exactly the kind of fear the current headlines are generating. Real SSA communication comes by mail only. If you receive a call like this, hang up immediately. Call 1-800-772-1213 directly to verify the status of your account. I want to hear from you directly. Which country are you originally from? And when you heard about the Social Security funding warning, what was your first concern? Was it about your own payment, a parent's payment, or something else? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and your questions shape the next video. What we covered today is documented, confirmed, and already generating fear and bad decisions in senior communities across this country. SSA will not send you a personal explanation of what the Trustees Report means for your check. This channel will subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the WhatsApp community in the description so urgent updates reach you directly. I am David. You have rights in this country. You have benefits you have earned. Knowing both protects everything. Take care of yourself.